Snow lingers in part of our viewing area. Coming up, we'll have an updated look at the road temperatures, plus when our warm-up is set to settle in.
Icy roads, bad crashes, a check on the trouble spots from this morning, and an update on the people who were involved.
A Durham chief judge arrested on domestic violence charges, what he is now saying about the incident. Conditions are starting to improve across our area on this WRAL weather alert day. It's still cold, but temperatures have climbed above freezing. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lovingood. Yeah, it was the freezing on the roads. That's the thing that we were looking out for this morning. Winter weather caused some slick conditions, in fact, on the roads into the morning hours, and we're getting a check on that in a moment. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Talk a little bit about how things have improved for us, Kat.
Big improvements. The winter weather advisory has ended across the entire viewing area, at least the counties that were under it in the first place. The sun is out in Raleigh. It's still peeking through slowly in the Sandhills, but as the sun comes out, temperatures are warming up and above freezing for many of us. Cloud cover now limited to the Sandhills, closer to Southern Pines, Wilson, and Southern Wake counties. Still seeing some of the clouds out there. Road temperatures have climbed into the mid to upper 40s. This is an exclusive product that we have here at WRAL, and it is incredibly useful. We had it for you throughout the morning hours, but in reassuring you that things are much better on the roads now, and temperatures are sitting above freezing. 35 here in the Triangle, 36 in Fayetteville, 34 Rocky Mount. The two exceptions, Roxborough as well as South Hill. The road temperatures are a lot warmer than the actual air temperature there, of course, because the pavement is dark, and that helps to warm things up. Futurecast continues to show temperatures climbing into the afternoon, though, and by 1 o'clock, temperatures should be above freezing in Roxborough and South Hill, upper 30s in the Triangle, and 40 degrees in Fayetteville. It will barely warm up from there, though, for the afternoon. Highs are only in the upper 30s to lower 40s and mid 30s for the areas that saw a little bit more snow out of this round. For the 5 o'clock commute, though, luckily temperatures stay above freezing. We'll keep an eye on South Hill. That's the one spot that'll come close at 5 o'clock. Here in the Triangle, though, we should be in the mid to upper 30s for the evening commute. And I'll have a closer look at the warm up on the way for tomorrow coming up.
All right, thank you, Kat. So it was a rough morning in terms of commutes for people out on the roads. There were several crashes all across our viewing area.
Yeah, including a deadly crash in Wake County. WRAL Sean Gallagher joins us now. And Sean, how have conditions improved now from earlier this morning?
Yeah, Michelle, Chris, their conditions are infinitely better than they were. The roads are dry, and you can see here behind me on I-40 heading westbound near Hammond Road, everybody basically going at speed, but it was a much different story this morning. Like you were saying, that deadly crash that happened on US 64. Highway Patrol says a 52-year-old woman died after losing control on an icy bridge. It was the most serious crash of the morning, but far from the only one. WRAL was all over the area covering crashes on Buffalo Road, an overturned box truck near Nightdale, and a multi-vehicle crash on Capitol Boulevard, among many others. But no injuries reported in any of those areas. DOT spokespersons explained to me their efforts to prevent this morning's commute from being any worse.
Every bridge and overpass or elevated interchange got salt and sand overnight. That didn't stop, though, the black ice. We did obviously have an issue with black ice, and we're going to have to watch that again for tomorrow morning. Sometimes the salt that we put down does not work as long as the moisture lasts. So therefore, you end up with black ice, even though you had the salt in place.
And DOT crews will be at it again all day and into the night, as well as they prepare for a potentially slick commute in the morning as well. Their best advice is that you stay home until the temperature gets above freezing, but they understand there aren't people that can always do that, so their best advice for you, take it slow. In Wake County, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Now, viewers have been sending us their winter weather pictures really all morning.
Yeah, they've been really fun to see. Luis Fernandez is in the WRAL Live Center to share some of them, Luis.
Yeah, Chris, Michelle, we've been getting so many of these images from viewers just like you. I want to show you some of the conditions people were facing. This came from Crystal Rizzo in Henderson. She took this picture. She said she was trying to take her daughter into work at about 9:10. This is Highway 39. She said that they had to turn around and go back. You can see the icy conditions on this road. She said folks were starting to slide back down the hill. So when we talk about these kind of conditions, we're looking at roads like this. There may be those more back roads. Please be careful when you're out there driving regardless, but there is some beauty in all of this. Becky from Lewisburg sending us this photo. You see the snow there, a little pool in the background. Might be too cold for that one. Elizabeth Mason with a little bit of artistry here from this picture in Durham, the sun coming in. Let's see what else we have. Harriet Tillett from Person County. This is Mayo Lake, sunrise over Mayo Lake. They got a lot of snow up there. So we're going to have a lot more of these photos. Please be sure to send this in, upload to the Report It section of our app or website if you got folks photos you want to share with us.
Yeah, we love it when you send us those photos. Thanks, Lewis. You can stay connected to updates anytime with the WRAL weather app, but make sure your push notifications are turned on. That way you can get those important alerts sent right there to your phone.
The chief judge for Durham County's district court finds himself on the other side of the law.
Yeah, Judge Clayton Jones Jr. is facing domestic violence charges linked to an incident that happened on Thanksgiving weekend. We actually want to turn to Ken Smith for this. He's been looking into this story with more on the allegations and the judge's response to this, Ken.
Yeah, Chris and Michelle, this alleged incident reportedly involves a woman with whom Judge Jones previously had a relationship. Well, this is video of Judge Jones on the bench. The arrest warrant indicates he is accused of hitting and grabbing the woman by the back of her neck at a local business on Kate Street and South Briggs Avenue on November 29th. Now, in a statement through his attorney, Judge Jones denies the allegations and says witnesses will prove he did not assault anyone. That statement goes on to say Judge Jones deeply respects the court process and expects to be quickly vindicated in this matter. Judge Jones is due back in court January 5th. District Court Judge Doretta L. Walker was appointed to temporarily fill the role of Chief Judge in Durham. Of course, we'll continue to monitor this story for any new developments.
All right, Ken, thank you. A Raleigh woman pleading for help and finding her missing 15-year-old daughter. This is Malia Macon. She has been missing for 5 days. Her mother says Malia has a developmental disability and doesn't have her medication. She's also worried about the cold temperatures we've been seeing. Malia was last seen Thursday morning at the Wake County Health and Human Services building on Swineburne Street. WRAL has reached out to DHHS to ask how Malia was able to leave DSS custody. They say they can't comment because of confidentiality laws. If you know where she is, call Raleigh Police right away. Well, Raleigh leaders say crews are making significant progress in repairing the convention center 1 week after the fire there. A temporary seal was applied to the roof and some areas are still under repair. The staff has been busy rescheduling or canceling events. Any organizations that were not able to host their event will get their deposits back. And Convention Center management took time to personally thank the firefighters who responded that night. This post says they appreciate their fast and coordinated response that kept their team and their building safe.
The Lumbee tribe could soon be federally recognized for real this time. This is all connected to a bill that funds the Department of Defense. The Lumbees have tried for decades to get this recognition, and it could happen before the new year. The designation would bring in money for schools and health care, plus the ability to build a casino. But not everyone is happy about this. Some other Native American tribes say the Lumbee, well, it isn't a true indigenous tribe. They argue the Lumbee are a relatively new mixed race group formed by the intermingling of natives, escaped slaves, and others. They worry about increased competition for federal aid and casino visitors. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians has opposed federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe for decades. Their principal chief released a statement about this, reading in part, quote, "We are deeply disappointed and alarmed to see the inclusion of Lumbee recognition language in the National Defense Authorization Act. A national defense bill is not the appropriate place to consider federal recognition, particularly for a group that has not met the historical and legal standards required of sovereign tribal nations." All right, we're keeping our eye on the stocks this afternoon. Dow Jones not looking too bad, up about 115 points there. Off screen, the S&P 500 up about 16 points. And we also are checking other things there, including what will happen with investors tomorrow, because it is the first start of the two-day meeting with the Federal Reserve, in which they are slated to make a decision that could very well affect the market.
Campbell University will offer free tuition to Harnett County residents who qualify. The university will cover full tuition for up to 8 semesters. You have to be a new first-year, full-time undergraduate student from Harnett County who will live on campus. It all starts this fall. Coming up, bravery on display. A state trooper in Virginia springs into action after a car crashes and bursts into flames. How he saved a man's life in the nick of time.
Also, nativity scene uproar. A Catholic church in Massachusetts is taking a stand that's getting mixed reviews.
Of these crackpot publicity stunts. One year we had climate change Jesus, then we had gun control Jesus.
They've always made a statement, and I think Jesus would be right here.
The scene getting both sharp criticism and strong support.
And later, new law challenges why some law enforcement officials say Irina's law is going to strain their jail space.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL weather app. Download now for live radar.
A fire ripped through an office building in Indonesia's capital today, and at least 22 people were killed. The fire engulfed the 7-story building in Jakarta, and black smoke was billowing into the sky. And the intensity of this, it caused some panic among people nearby. The fire is believed to have started on the first floor and then spread throughout other levels. Witnesses say a battery began sparking in a storage and testing area, and I should mention this building housed a drone company. Intense video shows a trooper in Virginia saving someone from a burning car. Look at your screen. This dash cam video shows Sergeant Page stopping at a scene of an accident on I-95. A Tesla caught fire after it went off the road and slammed into a tree. Sergeant Page then ran toward the vehicle and broke a window to rescue the driver. He and other Good Samaritans then went back to the vehicle just to make sure no one else was in there. The driver suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries and then was taken to the hospital. As for the cause of that crash, that's still being investigated, but good thing they were able to get him out of that car.
Wow, that trooper, true hero. A plane crashed into traffic during an emergency landing on a Florida interstate near Orlando. This happened yesterday. Look at this. The plane struck a Toyota Camry. The car's driver went to the hospital with minor injuries. The crash sent debris flying across the road, shutting down lanes on that interstate. The pilot of the plane is its only passenger. They walked away unharmed. An investigation is underway. Several former FBI agents are suing the Trump administration after they were fired for kneeling during protests that followed the death of George Floyd. The suit was filed on behalf of 12 ex-agents. It claims the Justice Department unlawfully terminated the group earlier this year based on the perception that they were not affiliated with President Trump. The suit explains that in 2020, the agents were confronted by a crowd who shouted at them to take a knee. In an effort to de-escalate the situation, the agents complied and then reported their actions to leadership, who found no wrongdoing. The former agents are asking that their jobs be reinstated.
A church in Dedham, Massachusetts gained a lot of attention because of its nativity scene having a sign about ice in it. Well, that led to the Archdiocese of Boston demanding the sign be removed. As Mary Marcos reports, the pastor of the church says he wants to speak directly with the bishop before deciding on changes.
If the circus continues and there's threats of anything like that, we'll take it down.
Baby Jesus will remain missing from the manger for now. In his place, this sign that reads, "Ice was here."
Father Jesome has a long history of pulling these kind of antics, of these crackpot publicity stunts. One year we had climate change Jesus, then we had gun control Jesus.
The display is an annual tradition at St. Susanna's Parish in Dedham, and some stand behind their pastor.
They've always made a statement, and I think Jesus would be right here standing saying, yes, make that statement.
This year's message comes as fears of ICE grow, especially among refugees the church has helped.
They've settled, I believe it's 8 immigrant families. I'm sure there are a lot of good people in this country, but the ones that are making the most noise right now and saying that they're Christians are fake Christians.
The Catholic Action League is calling the display politically divisive.
A sign demonizing a federal law enforcement agency is not an appropriate addition to a traditional Christmas nativity sign at a Catholic parish.
And the Archdiocese of Boston is demanding the sign come down.
The Archdiocese of Boston is both Father Jasoma's employer and his landlord. So I can't imagine there's any other outcome in the long run other than the sign coming down. If he wishes to be defiant, I think he'd be forfeiting his career as a priest.
Any divisiveness is a reflection of our polarized society, much of which originates with the changing, unjust policies and laws of the current United States administration.
That was Mary Marcos reporting. A smaller sign featured in that nativity reads, quote, "The Holy Family is safe in our church. If you see ICE, please call LUCE," which is an immigration justice network.
The NASA Soyuz MS-27 crew has landed safely back on Earth. The spacecraft landed just after midnight in Kazakhstan, where they were met by recovery teams. American Johnny Kim will board a NASA aircraft and return to Houston. 2 Russian crew members are returning to a training station in their country. Kim and his crewmates have completed a 245-day mission aboard the station. They orbited Earth 3,920 times and traveled nearly 104 million times.
Luis Fernandez here in the WRAL Live Center. We're getting a bunch of pictures from you all, sending them in of the snow, of the wintry weather. Let's have some fun. This one is from Jim Rawlinson in Raleigh, North Carolina. Check out the tiny little snowman. That's a small little guy. Apparently, they said, making the most of this winter weather. Some more fun picture. PK sending this one in from Wake Forest. Chance to go sledding. You'll love to see it. Let's look at the dogs, shall we? This is Cinnamon in the pink sweater, I would say. Really enjoying that. Marlon Gutierrez sending them in from Zebulon. Rebecca sending in this photo of their husky from Franklinton, North Carolina. Husky in their natural habitat, really enjoying the snow. Kelly Jackson sending those in from Macon. This is Bella. Bella's first snow. Really enjoying it. You can tell by all this right here on the nose. And then we've also got Lexi here in the pink sweater from Raleigh. Kristen Varello sending this one in. And last but not least, Rob and Jen Ruda sending in this donkey here from Durham. This is Charlie enjoying the snow. Donkey!
I love that. The animals are so cute, but we got a resounding for Bella, because that looks like your puppy
Cha-Cha and Jazzy would be friends with Bella. Wouldn't you say that, Kat?
Absolutely. Jazzy was not as excited about the snow, though, as many of those pups were. Jazzy is team hate snow, opposite her mom. So she had a quick in and out this morning. Taking a live look at Franklinton today. Yesterday, all of this grass last night was covered with a nice dusting of snow. It looked beautiful with the Christmas decorations. And a shout out to the folks there in Franklinton who saw their camera on TV and turned on the lights for us just to make it look even more beautiful last night. You can see the roads are drying out there nicely. Here's a closer look at the snow totals that we had. The areas in light blue saw dusting to about an inch. As you head to the north, darker shades of blue about 2 inches. And then up in southern Virginia, some of that blue is up to 5 inches of snow that fell. And check this out. Some of the snowfall reports, that's what all the little snowflakes you see are here, extended all the way south of Goldsboro. Even Wayne County got to see some snowflakes out of this. Johnston County did as well. It was nice to see some of the areas that don't typically get to win out on snow, at least get to see it falling outside. Currently, temperatures are above freezing in most of our viewing area. We're at 35 in Raleigh, Morrisville, Cary, still hovering around 32 in Apex, Garner, Fuquay, Varina, 33 there. These are the cities, though, that really didn't see as much snow to begin with, 31 in Wake Forest. So not above freezing everywhere at this point. However, even though the air temperature isn't necessarily above freezing, the pavement, since it's dark, is above freezing in our viewing area. 32 in Roxborough and Lewisburg, 34 in Rocky Mount, 30 in Siler City, 36 in Fayetteville, and 35 in Goldsboro. If you're headed out for a walk this afternoon, temperatures continue to warm up into the upper 30s to near 40 degrees today. The sun will also continue to peek through the clouds. Tonight won't be quite as cold, but it will be frigid out there. Make sure you bundle up still. Temperatures range from the mid-20s to about 30 degrees down in Fayetteville. And tomorrow, I think a lot more kids are going to be getting on the bus. And here's what to expect in the morning. 36 degrees to start the day. It's partly cloudy. By noon, 49, and then during the afternoon, 53. Now, in regards to school closings, remember, we do not dictate that in the WRAL Weather Center, but check in on our evening news. We'll have a closer look at the latest traffic cameras and cameras across our viewing area just to make sure that there aren't any wet spots that linger on the roads for tonight. Temperatures only reaching 40 today, so that 55 tomorrow is going to be a nice jump, a 15-degree jump for us. It will be windy outside, though, tomorrow. We'll have more on that coming up in the next half hour. As for rain chances, we've got just a small 20% chance on Friday and another small chance heading into the weekend. Overall, though, no big overwhelming signs of any more snow coming up anytime soon.
30s today, 50s tomorrow. Okay, big change.
It's North Carolina for you. Thank you, Kat. Fight for water. One Wake County town proposed plans to pull water from the Cape Fear River. It's facing backlash. Starting at today on WRAL News at 4, why this is causing an uproar and if it could move forward.
And if you're shopping on Instacart, your grocery bill may be higher than your neighbors, even if you're buying the exact same items at the exact same stores. Tonight at 6 o'clock, 5 on Your Side explains an AI-enabled price experiment on Instacart where some shoppers pay up to 23% more per item without realizing it. Talking about sticky fingers at the store. Just ahead, how a cost-saving convenience is leading to an increase in shoplifting.
Also ahead, device charging danger. 200,000 power banks are under recall today. What to do if you bought one of these on Amazon.
Well, today the Federal Reserve started a 2-day meeting, and they could decide to cut the federal funds rate. That move would put downward pressure on interest rates for mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and other debt. The central bank also aims to balance maximum employment with control of inflation. The Supreme Court is considering a case that could affect the Fed. It challenges President Trump's firing of a former FTC commissioner. The case could impact his authority over other independent agencies, including the Fed.
A new survey finds that more customers are stealing at the self-checkout. According to research from LendingTree, 27% of respondents admit they have stolen at least one item while using self-checkout. Many say they are taking everyday essential goods rather than luxury goods. The survey of more than 2,000 people found that 47% point to unaffordable necessities, while 46% blame rising prices tied to tariffs as the driving reason behind their decision to steal.
All right, just a heads up, we have a recall alert for Amazon shoppers. More than 200,000 in-use power banks sold on the site have been recalled over a fire risk. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the battery in the power bank, it can overheat and even ignite. Officials have received nearly a dozen reports of fires with damages reaching $380,000. Customers are advised to stop using that power banks and visit in-use recall page to register for a full refund.
Reddit is launching new safety features for teens worldwide, and that comes ahead of Australia's landmark social media ban, which goes into effect tomorrow. The new rules include stricter chat settings and restrictions on personalized ads. Reddit says the settings will automatically kick in when the site determines that a user is under 18.
PepsiCo plans to cut prices and eliminate some products as part of a deal with an activist investor. The soda and snack giant will reduce nearly 20% of its lineup by early next year and invest the savings in marketing and improving value for consumers. The company has not disclosed, though, which products may be cut or how much prices will be lowered.
Coming up, possible homeowner relief. State lawmakers taking a hard look at property taxes. The bipartisan effort to get those payments under control as real estate valuations keep going up.
And we're also talking about higher hopes for federal recognition. The Lumbee Indian tribe could finally achieve that this month. Why it's taken decades to get to this point and why some other tribes remain strongly opposed.
And here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
All right, so housing affordability is becoming a key political issue in our state. State lawmakers have already picked one angle to focus on in 2026, property taxes.
Yeah, WRAL state government reporter Will Doran joins us this afternoon to break it all down. Will, what can the state do about property taxes?
Well, Chris, Michelle, that is the big question here, because right now the answer is not much. Property taxes are set by cities and counties, not by the state legislature. And all the money stays local, too, to pay for schools, police, parks, things like that. But House Speaker Destin Hall wants to hone in more on this. Yesterday, he announced a new property tax committee at the state legislature. He said the goal of this committee is going to bring financial relief to people without harming the ability of local governments to pay their bills.
Yeah, but well, how do you do that, right? Like, how do you make that happen? If you let some people pay less, then won't cities and counties also collect less?
That makes sense, and that is the main problem that this committee is going to have to grapple with. Now, one solution could be for the state government to step in and just subsidize this, pick up the bill. But there could be other more creative strategies too. And in fact, they're going to need to find some because North Carolina simply doesn't have the money to just give everybody a property tax break.
So in that case, is there any indication of who or where the main focus will be?
Well, the where on this will probably be statewide. This is a bipartisan committee. There are folks from rural and from urban areas, but it's the who that could be more targeted. We know that they want to focus on senior citizens in particular. If you're living on a fixed income, then property tax hikes could force you out of your house. There might also be an appetite to do something for first-time home buyers as well, but this only got announced yesterday, so we're going to be learning more specifics about this in the months to come.
Yeah, so it's pretty fresh. Okay, well, thanks, Will. And, of course, for Will's full coverage of the new Legislative Committee on Property Taxes, head on over to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Well, we have some good news for people who need help paying their utility bills. The State Department of Health and Human Services received the federal funding that it was waiting on through the government shutdown. That means North Carolina will go back to accepting applications for an energy assistance program starting tomorrow. The Low Income Energy Assistance Program, it helps people who meet a certain income criteria to pay their bills.
North Carolina's ARENA's law has been in place for, more than a week and a day. And some law enforcement agencies in the state say the changes could have major implications for families and the justice system. Autumn Bracey shows us Charlotte law enforcement's concerns about not having enough resources to make these changes.
Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden says his office was never consulted before ARENA's law was signed, despite the significant impact it will have on detention center operations. He says his team is already supporting dozens of counties statewide through their RISE program, which focuses on mental health services for people taken into custody.
I think they should have taken in consideration that we are already dealing with this and we're already tackling this, come to us and said, how can we better manage this?
Sheriff McFadden says this law will cause the number of people in detention centers to rise even more than it already is.
Because it attacks the new bond referendum or the bond referendum, and it attacks also the discretion that the magistrates and the judge has on releasing people.
Well, last November, 1,297 people were booked into the jail compared to 1,571 this November. Leaders at the detention center Central says that increase is draining resources from the amount of food they can provide to the medical services they're able to administer.
Overcrowding also reduces efficiency and raises the risk of incidents, making it harder to maintain order.
The changes from the new law impact everyone from detention officers inside the jail to magistrates who are now taking on more responsibility. Major Robert Abbey says they're already expecting delays in the critical work of processing arrest, and that creates some serious challenges for their day-to-day operations.
We're dealing with people at a very volatile time. And when you put people that are we're dealing at a volatile time, and a lot of them in a little area, it can get dangerous.
That was Autumn Bracey reporting. Right now, to adapt to these changes, some staff at the Sheriff's Office and the Mecklenburg County Detention Center are operating under mandatory overtime.
Luis Fernandez here in the WRAL Live Center. New information coming in the case of Ghislaine Maxwell and the records requests in the case. Justice Department can now publicly release investigative materials from the sex trafficking case against Ghislaine Maxwell. Remember,
When it comes to holiday gratuities, deciding who to tip and how much can really be overwhelming.
Yeah, Jen Sullivan is talking a little bit about the tips on who to tip this holiday season.
It's the season of giving, but when it comes to tips, who should you give to and how much?
Tip who's really gone out of their way to make your life easier this year.
Ted Rossman works at personal finance company Bankrate. They recently conducted a survey about holiday tipping and found 56% of U.S. adults say they usually give bigger tips when they receive better service. But they also found fewer people plan to tip this holiday season.
A lot of people are cutting back, but some, especially high earners, are giving as much or more.
Bankrate came up with a list of the most common people to tip in the U.S., starting with housekeepers. Tips range anywhere from $20 to more than $50, depending on the service, their survey found. And it doesn't have to be cash. The U.S. Postal Service doesn't allow employees to accept cash. But if you want to show your mail carrier appreciation, they can accept a gift of less than $20 or something like baked goods. The more you interact with someone, Rossman says, the more you should tip, like a childcare provider or housekeeper.
Whatever you normally pay them for a weekly service, you might consider doubling that one at the end of the year.
When you're setting your holiday budget, Rossman says it's important to factor in tipping because it can add up fast. Make a list of who is most important and figure out how much you can afford to give. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
What do you think about giving?
I agree with them when they say better service,
right,
better tip. But I used to serve in a restaurant and I was on the other side of that, so I understand I always tip 20%.
I always tip 20%, and then for any situation, because sometimes you'll just go to pick up food, you're not actually served. I give what feels right. Give what's in your heart and give what you are in that moment.
That
and
tip
not
button
reluctantly.
Is everywhere these days.
It is.
So tip when you feel that
So
it's
if you like today's
necessary.
newscast, you of course get, no, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Yes, give us 20%. Why not? Yeah, no, we're just kidding.
All right, so just ahead, we are talking about a bit of a troubling trend. Many more parents are saying no to vitamin K shots for their babies, while experts warn that's a dangerous decision.
Also, new year, new skin. Tattoo removal surges as resolutions roll in. The high-tech advances making it easier than ever to wipe the slate clean.
I'm Luis Fernandez in the WRAL Live Center. Breaking news here at noon. Emergency services are responding to an incident this morning at North Forsyth High School. You're seeing here live video from the NBC affiliate in the Triad WXII. I want to show you some drone video here as well. This is of the high school, a heavy police presence at the school. It's located at Chatelain Drive in Winston-Salem. There was also EMS. Currently, not much more information is known besides the fact that there was a heavy police presence. WXII, once again, the NBC affiliate in the Triad, is reaching out to get more information from local officials. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
We at least know something's happening there, and they'll try to get us information, which we will report. All right, thank you, Louis. A growing number of parents are opting out of giving their newborn infants vitamin K shots. Researchers at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia are calling this trend alarming. They warn it could have deadly consequences. If you didn't know, vitamin K has long been considered crucial for preventing bleeding and ensuring strong bones. A new study shows that since 2017, the proportion of newborns not receiving the shots has increased by 77%. Researchers say the findings underscore the need to educate parents, reverse vaccine misconceptions, and promote best practices in care.
Well, the concept that tattoos are forever is taking a turn as more and more people with ink start considering tattoo removal. Sue Guzman takes a closer look at the advancements making the process more accessible.
With the new year approaching, many people are starting to make their list of resolutions. And with the number of folks pursuing tattoo removal on the rise, some people's goals might be to get rid of old ink.
They might have got that tattoo when they were like young. Maybe they were like 16, 17, and now they're like 30 or 40, and they're like, this doesn't jive with me anymore. So they're like, I want to get this off.
Advancements in technology are helping make tattoo removal more accessible, with many professionals using something called a quality switching laser. The laser gives off concentrated bursts of light energy to break up the ink into small particles. Those small particles are then absorbed by the body and eventually released as waste.
I think just right now, as I'm getting older, I just want my natural-looking skin back.
Tracy Herman has 8 tattoos and is getting 4 removed, but the process can sting.
It definitely feels like a rubber band, hot rubber band hitting you, or grease from a frying pan. Those are the two ways I explain that to a lot of people. It doesn't feel great.
The stress balls really help because at the time it is pretty intense. It's like a bee sting.
Multiple sessions are also needed to remove ink, depending on factors like the size, depth, and color of the tattoo. Sessions are also typically spaced months apart for time to heal.
So I tell everyone that we start off at $100 shop minimum, and that's where I stay at.
Ouch. That was Sue Guzman reporting there.
Yeah, and there can be risks associated with tattoo removal, including temporary scarring, redness, infection, and more, meaning proper consultation is key there. I actually interviewed someone about this, especially when you get like a botch tattoo. They have to actually sometimes cut the skin out. So keep that in mind. Yeah, thank you.
Whew. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a live look over Zebulon. All the snow has melted, Kat.
It has. You know, let's totally flip the switch. Talk about the December snow. It was so nice to see it. It is actually normal to see a trace of snow around our area in December. It was beautiful on a lot of the elevated surfaces, the Christmas decorations I was seeing driving into work today with the snow on top. So pretty with the wreaths, even outside here at WRAL. And this was all covered in snow earlier. And Zebulon, not the case anymore. It is just grass. Same with Dix Park. We had a nice little dusting of snow on the grass. No more. 35 degrees in the Triangle. It's mostly cloudy. After sunset, temperatures will cool below freezing tonight, but it's going to take a lot longer to do so, and it won't be quite as cold. Here are the snowfall totals from the past 24 hours. We've had 2 inches in Littleton, Drury. Red Oak had about an inch, as well as Youngsville, Wake Forest, just under an inch, and Oxford had about half an inch of snow. The winter weather advisory has expired in our area, and now the emphasis is up in the north, the northern plains, the Midwest. A winter weather advisory in effect for parts of Michigan as well. And as we look ahead, it's going to be these clipper systems that swing through, and the bulk of the energy from those stay to our north. Yesterday, one made it a little bit further to the south. Still, Virginia was the bullseye for the snow potential. Sometimes we can see it enhanced by snow. Sometimes we can see the snow enhanced by the North Carolina mountains if it's able to make it past the mountains. And that's what the mountains saw yesterday. Southern Virginia saw for us a nice dusting of some snow for parts of our viewing area. Clouds not out of here yet. We still have a lot of upper level cloud cover, and that will gradually fade as we head into tonight. But it is going to keep temperatures a little bit milder for us. Temperatures fall near 30 for the low in the Triangle. And as we look ahead this evening, it's really closer to about 8, 9 o'clock that we may begin to see temperatures fall below freezing in the Triangle. Overnight, we're not quite as cold as last night, but we will dip down to the mid-20s in Roxborough, 27 South Hill and Rocky Mount, 29 Goldsboro, 30 in the Triangle, and 30 degrees in Fayetteville. Tomorrow's big weather story is the wind. Hold on to your hats. And the key tomorrow, secure your loose outdoor Christmas decorations. The inflatables could go flying. We could see winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour tomorrow. A couple of models show wind gusts even higher than that. So you'll definitely want to make sure that your Christmas decorations are good to go tomorrow. Anything that's lightweight, really make sure it is secure. The wind, though, is a warming wind for us. It's out of the southwest tomorrow, so we warm up. 55 may not sound super warm to you, but it's a lot warmer than our 40 degrees today. Thursday and Friday, just a very small chance for rain Friday, but temperatures identical, 50 degrees both of those days. The weekend starts out mild, but by Sunday we could cool back down.
Thank you, Kat, for breaking that down for us. Dinosaur footprint discovery.
Where paleontologists are researching a prehistoric treasure trove that's bound to make a huge impression. Here's a live look at Lake Gaston. Still some snow on the dock there and on the roofs. Still cold out there, but we're going to warm up tomorrow. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today. Chris?
It's a bit of a rough morning on the roads there, Michelle, with several crashes across our area. That includes a deadly crash on US 64 in Wake County. Highway Patrol says a 52-year-old woman died after losing control on an icy bridge. Another crash left a box truck overturned near Knightdale. And since those crashes, well, the roads have improved, but temperatures will drop below freezing overnight, so whatever's left could refreeze. DOT teams are out in full force trying to get the roads nice and clear for you.
The chief judge for Durham County's district court is responding to accusations that he assaulted a woman. 47-year-old Clayton Jones Jr. faces misdemeanor charges of assault on a female and domestic violence. Police say this stemmed from an incident on Thanksgiving weekend. Arrest warrants indicate he is accused of hitting and grabbing a woman by the back of her neck at a local business. In a statement through his attorney, Jones denies the allegations.
A Raleigh woman is pleading for help in finding her missing 15-year-old daughter. Please look at your screen. Malia Macon has been missing for 5 days, and her mother says Malia has a developmental disability. She doesn't have her medication and is also worried about the cold. Malia was last seen Thursday morning at the Wake County Health and Human Services building on Swinburne Street. If you know anything about where she is, you can call Raleigh Police.
Researchers have documented the largest set of dinosaur footprints in the world and where the extinct creatures likely moved on to. A team of paleontologists announced the discovery of more than 16,000 dinosaur footprints in Bolivia's village of Toro Toro. The area is home to a national park and is dubbed the Land of Dinosaurs. The team tracked thousands of footprints from a group of dinosaurs that most notably includes the T-Rex. Toro Toro has long been known for its rocky landscape covered with massive monster-like footprints. Researchers on the expedition say they followed the well-known tracks for a major discovery.
But what do you do now? Do they cut it out of the ground, move it to a museum?
It's just so cool.
Set up a line to go visit? I don't know. It's kind of cool though.
That would be a long line to go visit those footprints.
Life finds a way. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so time for our pet of the day. We're going to introduce you to Anito Burrito.
Anito Burrito. I love it.
He is an 8-year-old, 70-pound black lab mix. He has a big heart and a playful personality. But Anito is not a fan of cats. However, he's loyal, affectionate, and loves to spend time with his people. He thrives on outdoor adventures, especially playing fetch, and he's smart and eager to please. He already knows commands like sit, lie down, and drop it. Drop it, boy. You can learn more about this little doggy here by reaching out to WCACmatchmaker@gmail.com.
That is so cute. All right, coming up, fight for water. One Wake County town proposed plans to pull water from the Cape Fear River, facing backlash now. On WRAL News at 4 today, why this is causing an uproar and if the plans could move forward.
Hope you folks have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.